Imagine a figure against a world of white, waiting patiently by a seal's breathing hole in the ice. This is the Arctic, a realm of ice and light that appears uninhabitable. Yet for millennia, diverse and resilient cultures have not just survived here. They've thrived, forging a relationship with the land that's deeper than the frozen ground beneath their feet. But the world that has been their anchor for generations is changing at a terrifying speed. The ice is thinning, the seasons are scrambled, and the animals they rely on are vanishing. This is a journey to meet the Arctic's most remarkable peoples. We'll witness their incredible survival skills and ask a critical question. Can their ancient way of life withstand the pressures of the modern world? Our journey starts in Siberia on the Yamal Peninsula, a sliver of land reaching into the icy Kara Sea. In the language of its people, the name means the end of the world. This is the home of the Nenets, a tribe of nomadic reindeer herders who lead one of the last great migrations on Earth. For over 1,000 years, the Nenets have lived in perfect sync with their reindeer. The reindeer are everything: food, clothing, the material for their homes, called chums, and their only way to cross the vast treeless tundra. Twice a year, they move their massive herds, sometimes traveling up to 1,000 kilometers. They move from the lichen-rich forests in the south during winter to the coastal grasslands of the Arctic north for the summer. This journey is an incredible feat of endurance, all timed to the rhythm of the seasons. Entire families, from toddlers to the oldest elders, travel on handmade wooden sledges, living a life that never stops moving. Their whole existence is a masterclass in adaptation. Their clothes, made of many layers of reindeer hide, are so effective a herder can easily handle temperatures that drop to -50 degrees Celsius. Their homes can be taken down and packed onto sledges in less than an hour, a portable shelter against a blizzard. But this ancient rhythm is now in serious trouble. The Arctic is warming faster than any other place on the planet, and for the Nenets, the results are catastrophic. Unpredictable weather is the new normal. A disaster known as rain on snow is especially brutal. A sudden winter thaw followed by a snap freeze covers the lichen pastures in a thick sheet of ice, locking away the reindeer's only food. In 2013, one of these events caused over 60,000 reindeer to starve, a disaster some families never recovered from.
On top of that, their ancient migration routes are being cut apart by industry. The Yamal Peninsula happens to sit on one of the world's biggest natural gas reserves. Pipelines, roads, and railways now slice across the tundra, creating barriers the huge herds struggle to cross. As one elder put it, "We are afraid that with all these new industries, we will not be able to migrate anymore. And if we cannot migrate anymore, our people may just disappear altogether." The Nenets survived centuries of isolation and political change, but now they're fighting a war on two fronts: a changing climate and an encroaching modern world.
From Siberia's endless tundra, we head east to the stark, vertical world of northwestern Greenland. This is home to the Inuit, the northernmost indigenous people on the planet. For them, the land is only half of their world. Their real lifeblood is the sea ice. The Inuit are subsistence hunters, meaning their culture and survival are completely tied to the marine mammals of the Arctic Ocean. They are masters of a frozen world, armed with ecological knowledge passed down for generations. Traditionally, they hunted seal, walrus, narwhal, and even polar bears from kayaks and dog sleds, navigating a dangerous world of shifting ice and brutal winds. The seal, especially, is the foundation of their life. Its meat is food, its blubber is oil for heat and light, and its skin becomes waterproof boots and warm clothing. Their survival skills are a mix of necessity and genius. In the dead of winter, hunters would build igloos, temporary snow shelters, as they traveled across the massive sea ice looking for game. Their ability to read the ice, to understand its subtle clues about thickness and safety, was a matter of life and death. This traditional ecological knowledge has been the bedrock of their culture for centuries. Today, that bedrock is literally melting. The sea ice, once a reliable platform for hunting and travel, is forming later in the fall and breaking up earlier in the spring. It's younger, thinner, and much more unpredictable. Hunting routes used for generations are now filled with risk. Hunters who once traveled with total confidence now face the constant danger of falling through fragile ice.
This domino effect continues. As the ice vanishes, the animals that depend on it are forced to change their patterns too. Seals and walruses, which need ice floes to rest and breed, are harder to find. The shorter hunting season puts huge pressure on communities, threatening their food supply and forcing them to rely more on expensive, imported foods. Young hunters now mix ancient techniques with modern tech, using GPS to navigate and social media to share warnings about dangerous ice. But these are just reactions, not solutions. An Inuit elder captured the feeling of loss, saying, "When the land changes, so do we." There is a deep grief that comes from losing our way of life. For the Inuit, a warming world isn't just a change in scenery. It's the very foundation of their identity, cracking right under their feet.
Now we travel across the Atlantic to the vast region of northern Europe known as Sápmi, a territory that stretches across the northern parts of Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Russia. This is the ancestral homeland of the Sámi people, one of the most politically organized and resilient indigenous groups in the Arctic. Like the Nenets, the heart of traditional Sámi culture is the reindeer. For centuries, many Sámi families have followed the herds, moving between winter and summer grazing lands in a cycle that shapes their calendar and their view of the world. Their traditional clothing, the gakti, with its bright colors and detailed patterns, shows a person's home region. And their unique song form, the joik, is a deeply personal and spiritual way to remember a person, an animal, or a place. The Sámi have faced centuries of assimilation policies and discrimination. Their land has been cut up by national borders they never asked for, and their culture has been under constant attack. Yet, they haven't just endured, they've become powerful voices for indigenous rights on the world stage. They have their own Sámi parliaments in Finland, Norway, and Sweden, political bodies that fight to protect their interests, language, and culture. In a huge victory after years of delays, Finland recently passed a reform to its Sámi Parliament Act. This strengthens the Sámi people's right to self-determination and gives them the power to define who represents them politically. This political power is vital because they're facing the same threat as their Arctic neighbors: climate change. Unpredictable winters, with wild temperature swings and rain-on-snow events, create thick ice crusts that stop reindeer from getting to their food. This doesn't just threaten the animals, it threatens the entire economy of herding. At the same time, their ancestral lands are being chopped up by development, including mining, logging, and even renewable energy projects like wind farms. These projects cut across ancient migration routes and shrink the grazing lands, squeezing herders into a smaller and smaller space. A map from the Woodwell Climate Research Centre starkly shows how a single Sámi family's herding lands are being fractured by this double-edged sword of climate change and industry. Despite all these pressures, the Sámi are showing a way forward. They're blending their deep traditional knowledge with modern advocacy and political action. They're fighting legal battles to protect their lands, launching projects to bring back their languages, and creating guidelines for responsible tourism. The Sámi story is a powerful lesson in resilience. They aren't just surviving, they're organizing, adapting, and demanding a future where their culture can keep thriving. Our journey now takes us back to the Russian Far East, to the remote, windswept peninsula of Chukotka, which sits just across the Bering Strait from Alaska. This is home to the Chukchi, a people whose name for themselves, Luorawetlan, means the real people. Their culture is beautifully shaped by a deep-seated duality. two ways of life that are separate but connected. There are the reindeer Chukchi, nomadic herders who live inland, their lives centered around their reindeer. Much like the Nenets, they depend on the reindeer for almost everything: food, clothing and transport, and live in portable cone-shaped tents called yarangas. Then there are the maritime Chukchi, who live in settled villages along the coast. They are masters of the sea, hunting walrus, seals and whales from boats made of wood frames and animal skins. For centuries, these two groups have lived side by side, linked by trade and family, creating a rich society adapted to both the tundra and the ocean. Chukchi spirituality is deeply animistic. They believe everything in nature, animals, rivers, rocks, has a spirit. Shamanism is central, with shamans acting as a bridge between the human and spirit worlds, performing rituals for healing, good hunts, and guidance. This deep respect for nature shapes their entire way of life, ensuring that nothing goes to waste. Today, the Chukchi are facing a swarm of modern challenges that threaten this ancient balance. Climate change is hitting both lifestyles at once. For the reindeer herders, wild weather and changing plants are threatening their herds. For the marine hunters, shrinking sea ice and shifting whale migrations are making traditional hunting more difficult and dangerous. On top of the environmental crisis, they face intense pressure from modernization. During the Soviet era, many were forced into collective farms, and while some traditions survived, the nomadic lifestyle was severely restricted. Now, young people are often drawn to towns for school and jobs, putting the traditional knowledge of the elders at risk. The Chukchi language, which even has its own unique script, is now listed as endangered. But the Chukchi are resilient. Efforts are growing to preserve their language and culture, with community festivals and gatherings serving as vital chances to pass traditions to the next generation. Modern Chukchi artists are blending traditional themes with contemporary styles, creating a new visual language for their culture. They're fighting for political representation to make sure their voices are heard when it comes to resource development and climate policy. The story of the Chukchi is one of a people caught between two worlds, land and sea, tradition and modernity, and their determined fight to hold on to their identity as the real people. From Chukotka, we head west into the heart of Siberia to the Sakha Republic, a huge territory known as Yakutia. This is, without exaggeration, the coldest inhabited region on the entire planet. Its capital, Yakutsk, sees regular winter temperatures below -50 degrees Celsius. And the village of Oymyakon holds the record for the coldest permanently inhabited place on Earth, with a low of -71.2 degrees Celsius. It's here that the Yakut people, who call themselves the Sakha, have built a civilization in conditions that are hard to even imagine. Unlike many of their Arctic neighbors who rely on reindeer, the foundation of traditional Sakha culture is the horse. The Yakutian horse is a biological marvel, a short, stocky, incredibly tough breed with a thick, shaggy coat that lets it survive the brutal winters. It can even dig through deep snow with its hooves to find frozen grass. For the Sakha, the horse is a symbol of freedom and survival. It provides transportation. Its meat is a key part of their high-fat diet, and its fermented milk is used to make a nutritious drink called kumis. Living here is an art form. Traditional Sakha houses are built with thick logs and often sit on stilts, not for looks, but for survival. They're built on permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen ground, and raising the house stops its warmth from melting the ground and causing the whole structure to collapse. Their diet is perfectly designed to generate body heat, relying on frozen raw fish called stroganina, along with rich horse and reindeer meat. Refrigerators are often optional. Food can just be stored outside or in unheated cellars. Sakha culture is rich with epic poetry, known as olonko, which has been recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Their summer festival, Isyak, celebrates nature's rebirth after the long, dark winter, and is a vibrant expression of their spiritual connection to the natural world. But even in this kingdom of cold, the heat of global warming is making itself felt. The permafrost, the very ground their entire civilization is built on, is starting to thaw. This is causing buildings to crack, roads to buckle, and the landscape itself to slump and deform. Thawing permafrost also carries a terrifying health risk. In 2016, a heatwave thawed the carcass of a reindeer infected with anthrax decades ago, leading to an outbreak that killed thousands of reindeer and a young boy. There's a real fear that other ancient diseases, long frozen in the ground, could reawaken. The Saka mastered the art of living with the cold. Now they face the unheard-of challenge of living with its absence. Our journey now explores two distinct but neighboring groups in the Russian Far East: the Evenki, one of the most widespread indigenous peoples of Siberia, and the Koryak, who live on the volcanic Kamchatka Peninsula. The Evenki are the great nomads of the taiga, the vast boreal forest that blankets Siberia. Their territory is immense, covering more area than any other indigenous group in Russia besides the Russians themselves. For centuries, they have lived as reindeer herders and hunters, their lives perfectly in sync with the forest's rhythms. They are known for their incredible skill as trackers, navigating the dense forests on reindeer back. Their spiritual worldview sees nature as alive and sacred. Historically, they even acted as guides, helping Russian prospectors find the mineral deposits hidden in their lands. Today, that relationship has become a tragedy. The very lands they helped open to the world are now being exploited on a massive scale. Their homeland is being torn apart by extensive logging, and the rivers they depend on are being polluted by gold and diamond mining. The Evenki find themselves in a painful position, living alongside the industries that are destroying their environment and their way of life. Preserving nature is their top priority, because as they say, without the reindeer and the environment that nurtures them, they will no longer be able to exist as a people. To their east, on the dramatic Kamchatka Peninsula, a land of active volcanoes and rich salmon runs, live the Koryak people. Like the Chukchi, the Koryak are traditionally split into inland and coastal groups. The inland Koryak are reindeer herders, while the coastal communities are maritime hunters, focused on fishing and hunting sea mammals. Koryak culture is vibrant, celebrated through energetic dances and rich myths, with shamanism at the core of their spiritual life. Reindeer festivals are a central part of their cultural calendar, strengthening community bonds and their connection to the animals that feed them. Their traditional homes were often semi-underground, dug partially into the earth for insulation against the cold. The Koryak face challenges similar to their neighbors. Climate change is impacting both the tundra for the reindeer and the ocean for the coastal hunters. The salmon runs, a critical food source, are threatened by warming waters. At the same time, encroaching industry and the lingering effects of Soviet-era policies have put immense pressure on their traditional lifestyles. For both the Evenki and the Koryak, the fight is a familiar one across the Arctic, a struggle to maintain a deep, ancient connection to a place, while that very place is being changed forever by outside forces. Across thousands of kilometers of ice, tundra, and sea, we've seen the extraordinary resilience of ancient cultures. From the epic reindeer migrations of the Nenets to the Evenki and Koryak, peoples of the taiga and volcanoes, these peoples have developed a genius for survival, a deep wisdom that comes from the land itself. They've shown us that the Arctic isn't a barren wasteland, but a vibrant homeland, filled with culture, spirit, and life. They have lived through colonization, forced assimilation, and political turmoil. But the challenge they face today is something new. The global climate crisis, a crisis they didn't create, is melting the very ground beneath their feet. Melting permafrost, thinning sea ice, and unpredictable seasons aren't just data points on a chart. They are daily realities that threaten food, homes, and entire identities. Yet, these aren't stories about victims. They are stories of incredible strength and creativity. The Sámi are using political parliaments to fight for their rights. The Chukchi are finding new ways to pass on their endangered language. The Inuit are mixing old knowledge with new technology to navigate a changing world. And the Unungaks are leading the charge to create marine sanctuaries. They aren't just waiting to see what happens. They are actively building a future. Their struggle is really a reflection of our own. The changes happening in the Arctic are a warning for the entire planet. The wisdom of these cultures, their deep respect for nature, their principle of wasting nothing, their focus on community over the individual, holds lessons that the modern world desperately needs to hear. The question is no longer just can they survive? The real question is, will we listen? If you found this journey into the Arctic meaningful, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories from the far corners of our world. And in the comments below, let us know. What's the biggest lesson we can learn from these resilient cultures? Thanks for watching.